Hello everyone. I thought I would do a special little video since I have a new starter CV coming out soon. The last, I believe, 7 build tutorials on it. But I wanted to kind of lay out the CVs that have been made in the past and where they stand and how the new one stacks up to the older ones. Um, so to start with this is the first CV I ever built, the Carapace C2, January 2nd, 2018, size class 2, 4 hour and 15-minute build time and combat armor. It doesn't come with, but it has locations for up to 6 turrets and 4 launchers. A 72 grow plot farm, and it was built in Alpha 6. So the Carapace. I was kind of playing with the design on this particular one, and not sure. It kind of looked a little bit like it had a shell over a lower area, and that's how it got its name. This was designed as a starter vessel, but I decided to go with combat armor on it. Now, on this particular ship, it does have a fairly in the hangars that I do, I would call this a small hangar. I typically go for pretty good size hangars. This one is the smallest of the bunch, short of the Orthos, which does not have a hangar. Now, in this ship, it has like a little midsection here, which has a couple parts, and then a front door, which is pretty common, I believe, with all the model ships in one way or another. Comes into a crafting area. At the time, I was really into building in-game and survival, and I used a lot of constructors. So when I built this, I left locations for up to 6 constructors, and above here, you can see that this is actually a farm area, but all the grow plots don't come with it. At the time, coming across grow plots took a while to do, and it was harder than it is now. So they were left out, and this can hold up to 72 grow plots in it. Moving on to the front of the ship, basically you have a cockpit, and then just a way up into the farm section. Also, in the center of the ship, there's an elevator which goes to a landing pad on the back, and a very small landing pad up on the front area. So kind of 2. As in turret mount positions, what I did, and I still do this to date, is mark where they should be using some kind of symbols or decals, things like that. In this case, when it says 6 turrets, it's got 5 marked, and the 6th one actually would be where the radar is currently. So that would have to be removed. So this one of the bunch is by far the most expensive, and it uses quite a lot of iron and a lot of stathium. None of these ships are going to use any rare resources because they are starters, so you're not going to see that going on. But the most expensive ship, obviously the most durable ship as well, because of the combat armor hull, with a 4 hour and 15-minute build time. Moving on to the next one that was built, the Nomad St. This is May 21st, 2018, size class 2, 2 hour and 56-minute build time, but a steel hull. So considerably less build time than the Carapace. This one has locations for 5 turrets and 4 launchers. 54 grow plot farm, and was built in Alpha 8. So this ship, to improve on the design of the Carapace, this one has a larger top landing pad by some, not a lot, but it really excels a lot more in hangar space. It does have a wider, bigger hangar. Now, of course, built in Alpha 8, there was no new storage systems at that time, or controllers, I should say, so this does not have that. 2 constructors. It has a 54 grow plot farm, and that's pretty much it. Bridge, and I believe, of course, it has a front exit on the ship as well. Now I made a fancier model of this, the XT, which extended the length of the ship, made the hangar bigger, and more deluxe. It's a more expensive ship. It was also switched over to, I believe, combat armor on that one, and has a lot more thrust power than this one does. But I wouldn't call that a starter ship anymore. It's more of a mid-level ship. So moving on, I have the next one, the Orthros EMV, December 16th, 2018, size class 2, build time of 307, so slightly above the Nomad. Now this is an unusual ship as it does not have a hangar at all. 4 turret mount positions and 6 drill mount positions, and only an 18 grow plot farm built in Alpha 8. The concept behind this ship, and you can see where the mining turrets would go on either side over here, so up to 6 mining turrets. This one was designed to utilize top mounting HVs. And basically when you come near them, these ramps extend down. The front of the ship has 2 block height for HVs to mount there, and the rear of the ship has a 3 block height and a little bit more area for bigger HVs. Now in this ship, just everything about it's got an unusual design from the others. The farm is actually right up front, and then it comes up, and now this goes off to the back of the ship to the rear docking area, but it has a crafting room with 4 constructors, ammo. It also has your harvest boxes on this one, fridges, bunch of cargo boxes, bridge area, and then of course all the fixings in all these ships with what I can put into them versus the level that they're for. And then a landing pad. And the landing pad's about the same size as the Nomad, and 4 turrets on it. So just an unusual ship. The rear dock was specially designed to fit the Demos HT tank that's also on my workshop. And it kind of guides you in when you pull in. It tells you to stop, and then you raise and you park it on the ceiling. So this was kind of a concept, an experimental design. See how it came out, and yeah, I kind of like it. It's unique. How does it compare with function on the other ships? Well, I don't know. It's an alternative, put it that way. I won't say it's better or worse. It is the only one of these that actually embraces mining. So the next one is the Cosmos STX, March 2nd, 2019, size class 2. Same exact build time of 256 as the Nomad ST was. Steel hull again, 4 turret mounts, 36 grow plot farm, Alpha 9. So this does have the new storage systems in it. The concept of this ship was to make it as small as possible with as big as amount of room as I could. So it's a very wide-bodied ship. But because of that, it gives you a very big landing pad in comparison to the other starter CVs here, and a fairly roomy hangar for its size. Quite wide. Has the new storage in it. Must have ran out of fuel here. And just newer cosmetics and things like that, as in transitions that I've done through time. Similar layout though as like the Nomad. You walk in the front area here. You got your front exit door. You go up the elevator, which gets you to the 36 grow plot farm on the top, and then you have your bridge. Moving on up, out to the landing pad on the back, and that is where this ship excels. Is it has more lift thrust than the others due to the storage, and a lot of capacity to move HVs and SVs for its size. And that was the whole principle behind this one. Get some feel on this one. Now this one is the one that I just had the tutorials on. I think I finally decided on a name of Wayfarer-ST. Release date to be determined, which actually I expect in about a week and a half, something like that from now. Um, Now this one is a size class 1 with a build time of 2 hours and 27 minutes. This is by far the most inexpensive ship of the bunch, even compared to the Cosmos and Nomad. And looking at resource costs on these, the Nomad used quite a lot of iron, and it was easier on Sathium, but it did use a lot of iron yet. The Orthos is just different. Used a fair amount of iron and a lot of Sathium. And this one here got cheaper. So the iron count went down to like 3,500 and some, and Sathium at 1,400 and some. So it's a little bit cheaper, although the build time is just as much as the Nomad. On this new ship, it is quite a lot cheaper all around. The iron count is 2,700 and some, and Sathium is about 1,200, but 2 hour and 27 minute build time. So this ship was designed to be a class 1, and it just barely hit it. If you see on the size class of this ship, 1.49, but it did hit it. And being a newer ship too, this ship does have a little bit more lift thrust like the Cosmos to deal with the storage, and it actually has a pretty good rear thrust, and overall it doesn't handle too bad at all. So this ship is kind of like a mixture between the last couple. It's not as wide as the Cosmos, but it's basically the concept of trying to get a lot in a small space, and it's fairly rectangular, so it could have maximum potential on the interior for that. Now this one actually has again a pretty good size hangar. Comes with a 320K storage bin. I recently changed this out to, rather than an ammo box, it now does have a controller, as said in one of the comments. That would be a good idea, and it did exactly what was said. A standard ammo box is 2K storage in the same space, adding a controller and one container extension. It is 16K. Now, granted, this has 4 cannon turrets on it, and it's probably overkill on the amount of ammo you need to store on it, but it has it, and it really didn't cost anything more. Now, one unique feature of this ship, and also due to the fact that it is Alpha 10, is it does have a location for a shield generator. So there was purposely a 3x3 room set aside to add a shield to the ship when you could afford it and have the resources and whatnot. Has a location for offline protection, has a location for a repair bay, and a 36 grow plot farm. Now, if you were following the tutorials, I didn't cover this top section in that. I made some changes to it. Obviously, I added more grow plots and changed their layout a little bit. And I built this wall out, this kind of asymmetrical area up in here, simply because of the ceiling of where the shield generator is supposed to go. I had some blocks that were coming up, and I didn't like it. It screwed up the pathing. I didn't know what to do about it. So I decided to build a crew room here and disguise that hole, I guess you could say. So inside of here, a little bed and closet, and you got a bathroom, a shower, and a little TV. So nice little place to go, for all that fun stuff. So that's kind of the layout of the starter CVs I've done to date, and where they fit in on the grand scheme of things. Now, obviously, the last two, the Cosmos and the Wayfarer, are the newest, and they do have newer features than the older ships do. None of these took into account a shield, as they didn't exist, and the three oldest ones, that new storage systems were not around at the time when they were built, so they just have traditional cargo boxes. They still work, and I may go through at some point here and try to revise these to get them up to date to the standards. But I hope this helps. This is just a quick overview of the starter CVs to date, and thought I'd get this out there, and also so I could show a little bit more of what was done to this newest ship from the tutorials. I hope you enjoyed this, and you all have a good day. Thanks a lot.